Reawaken to your immortal identity and discover life between life's wisdom. Presented by the Michael Newton Institute.
Hi, viewers, and welcome back to our next episode with Marion Boon in this wonderful ongoing discussion that I'm having with her, where we're discussing her observations, her learnings. She's sharing her expertise in the decades of her work as a pioneering therapist in the world of regression therapy, transpersonal regression work, past life regression. And Marion continues to share with us her knowledge, her experience.
Thomas Schaefer wrote in his article about the Vietnam generation. And let's not forget that these people that went to Vietnam, the Americans made a very bad name there. But these boys, these men, were forced to go there. They were your neighbor, your farmer, your milkman, whoever. It was a tour of duty. The forces behind it, let's not even go there. But these people were not volunteering to go there. So they were there, lost. They didn't even know the language. They were not used to the climate. Happened what happened, the Vietnam War with all the intrigues. Any war is horrible. The logic is gone. The love is gone. And the light is gone. So this man comes home. And then it is, let's say, 68. I can still remember that on the black and white television. People demonstrating. And the soldiers that came back were blamed for all the horrors that were done there. And we know that the soldier, in general, follows the orders from higher up. But the higher up is still sitting there. And these men came home and they were treated, like very bad. So many of them suppress this. I have to live with this. Happened what happened. I didn't choose to go there. Yes, we did what we did. Okay, so he has to live with it. One way that apparently this generation dealt with it was, now it would be pills. In those days, it was alcohol. So many of them were alcoholics. And I'm quoting from the research done by Thomas Schaefer. So they never talked about it because it was too horrible. And again, let's not forget, this man lost his entire youth to something he didn't choose. That doesn't make him free of any responsibility for what he may have done there. But this is the bigger collective. So now the collective has absorbed the individual. The individual did not choose that. Now, how could regression therapy have helped that man? But he didn't know about it. So he keeps drinking. And I think that when people drink so much, they go out of body, they get in this trance. It's a heavy trance, but they get in the trance, and around them, in that trance, there are their own hurt parts. So when they drink and they are in that trance outside of themselves, they may finally feel a little bit more connected with themselves. Anyway, generation one, the Vietnam generation, drinks too much, don't talk about it. They get divorced because it's not good to live with him anymore. That whole burden, or part of it, goes to the children. These children, they get depressed. They are bothered with a big blanket that is not their own. They know it is related to their childhood and the father in Vietnam and blah, blah, everything, but it's not theirs. So how can I function when I'm under that blanket? Regression therapy would take you out, but they didn't know that. Then their children, the grandchildren, generation 3, has that burden on them and they're fighting it. They get aggressive, they get uncontrollable, and that is ADHD. So Thomas Schaefer is indicating how much he finds in ADHD diagnosis, how many times that belongs to the family line, which is never cleared or cleansed and processed. So once you start doing that, this generation 3 that has the ADHD is liberated from the burden that is not his own in the family line, and we have plenty of techniques to do this. Then this person can finally breathe for himself, as if he is finally born, and live his own life. So it is a big thing. And nowadays, the ADHD children are, in my opinion and in my experience, bothered with the burdens from the family that are not processed, including all the residues of the medication people are so used to take, and bad foods. The body never gets the proper nutrition. We live in pollution. There are chemical stuff is being sprayed from the air. I mean, it is huge, it's everywhere. So the human being needs to get his position back again. What can we do with these children? I have plenty of exercises there. Advanced work for all the therapists that may be watching. It's all available. And if they want, they can find me through the teachers of their schools.
Yes.
But I like to share because, you know, the ADHD now, it is the burden of the family and the past lives. But a lot is not your own. And then on top of that comes a kind of heaviness that is brought in the system that has to do with medication, even with vaccinations. You can bring in something that you expect to be good, but with it comes a charge that you don't know that is not good. And we do have to address that. That is the challenge of the future. So these children live in a field that is not their own. So get them out of the field. And we have techniques, we can do it. And then the child may say, oh, but now what do I do now that I am here myself? Well, you are entitled to find out. You're a child.
Marion,
So
I'm even as you're talking, there's so many cases that are coming into my mind space just listening to you, and I would love you to share with our viewers, because I'm quite sure there may be some parents listening in, or maybe even people themselves who have been diagnosed with ADHD. And what you just shared gives me a belief that at the end of the tunnel there is light. And with love, if you are to walk down that tunnel and reach that light using logic, life can be very beautiful. And would you want to say anything to the parents? Is it something that the parents can do, which can then enable them to, by work on themselves, actually help their children?
Yeah. I love that you bring that up. Thank you. The children this is not an easy time to be a child. There is not, when I was young, I could walk to school, to the preschool, and I walked away. I didn't go. I just walked in the direction of the school. And then there was a meadow with horses, and there was another girl, and we stick to the horses until somebody came to pick us up and brought us to the school. Naughty girls. Okay. But that's gone. You can't do that anymore. And also in our times, it's not safe. Unfortunately, there are people that steal children. So you want to bring your child to school, make sure it's in the school and safe. But hey, there is a lot of development that is has to be done in a different way. So parents of a so-called problem child, I think it is nice to say two things. One is, in a way, congratulations, because this child needs this experience. And you as a parent apparently are able, capable of supplying this. And also when you look at this, you don't look at this for nothing. There are therapies to help you, and this is regression therapy, which is solution focused. So the parent can do a session where you think of the child and invite the child in your space. So this is remote session, we name that, substitute session. The parent will be the client, but you work on the child. And then you will see that maybe the burden the child is carrying comes from your family. It may be your deceased father with all his lost youth from the war. I mean, we were talking about war just now. So the grandfather may have lost himself because of the war. He sees his grandson, he loves the grandson, he would have loved to live like that. And also, he hopes the child will be living in better times. So the spirit of the grandfather attaches to the grandchild. In that case, the child has a burden that he cannot handle. It's not his. So you have two entities, the child, the grandfather. The child and the grandfather are maybe close and then stick together. But when grandfather dies, a part of the child goes with him. And a lot of the charges that are earthbound, that are really literally too heavy to be dealt with at the higher planes, stays here. And that is the big burden that covers the child. So when the parent does the session, that can be removed. The child relives. The grandfather understands logic, that his love brought him to cover the light of his grandson. So this man understands. He will be helped and guided on his way to his own soul. He will be happy with that. And the boy gets back something that he doesn't feel, something that he doesn't know. He feels it. And he thinks, what is this? And in the end, he feels more empowered. And he can say, oh, this feels totally different. Now he can handle himself. He may still be too wild. He may still be easily aggressive, but it will slow down. Because now he is in the charges that he can handle. This is his own. But when you have the ADHD from the family line, and parents, please know, everybody has their own story. Again, this is not to judge, but it's going for the fact. Fact is that there is a problem child. And I said, congratulations, because you can help. And the other side is we live in times where we have really many therapists doing this work. So you find a reliable regression therapist, go for your own feeling. You can do it with an LBL therapist, with a regression therapist, with whatever the name is, when you trust them and they trust themselves, the therapist, that they are known in the community, intersubjective community of therapists, like a professional association, like a group of people who could say, hey, therapist, what are you doing? Clarify yourself, because we do need to help each other, and a little bit of control, profession-wise, is always good. So yes, this child came here in these times because his soul needs to express himself. The soul needs a body to express itself. The soul needs the temple that the body is to express itself, to manifest itself. So do the remote session. You will also understand better what your child is facing. It may be pretty harsh. It may not be easy, but it may also be a big relief when you find that a spirit releasement will do the job, and maybe one or two past lives from the child. And then, hey, you have your boy back and he's playing again, or your girl, of course. So yeah, this is the approach for now and the future, because we dare to deal with the past.
It's very true, because you know what you just said makes me realize there's we do hear a lot more of the ADHD
Mhm.
cases, quite a lot. And when I'm looking at it from a transgenerational perspective, it is true that the new generation, the youngsters who we're talking about, they are the ones who are probably sitting with layers of a lot of unhealed stuff coming in from
Yeah.
their ancestors. So ancestral healing and delinking and maybe disentangling, disassociating or detaching from things that they're probably carrying forward or unknowingly carrying within them. And I think, as you said rightly, thank God the child is showing the signs, because that means the family can actually get liberation. Then I'm talking about transgenerationally. If this child can address, you know, and I do believe if the parents were to do this work, then the child benefits, and then maybe the child is comfortable enough to seek or get therapeutic attention. And if the person is a little older, then can do this for himself or herself, or uh, and their entire ancestral chain that we're talking about. I mean, that is such a beautiful thing to free yourself
Mhm.
from.
Yeah,
Within the group.
definitely. There is a side effect, because when you're working on yourself, when you're working on the family line,
Hmm.
the child is burdened, and then the mother or the father who does the session may think, "Oh, but I also have that."
Yeah.
So there is another layer opening for the parent himself.
Hmm.
And maybe they didn't count on that. It may take you by surprise, but you can clean it and cleanse it and get your own energies back.
Hmm.
But then the field, the dynamics in the field are changed.
Hmm.
And the family feels that.
Hmm.
So now there may be this aunt who is always angry, and she may get more angry because she does not want to look in her own mirror.
Yes.
And she feels that everybody is doing this. Now you're forcing me to also look at my character. I don't want to. So there may be some dynamics in
Yes.
the ripple effect of the
Yes.
session.
Yes.
And
Very.
but it only indicates that the child was carrying all this, and that is too much. Many years ago, I gave a workshop it was in Mumbai, on the karma of the youngest. It was organized by our colleagues from Clover Leaf Academy.
Yes. Yes. I remember.
Many people came there, and because the title "Karma of the Youngest" is intriguing. So when nobody in the family is able to look at their own actions, to process the heaviness they went through, and think of it, we don't always marry the right person. So in the family line, that has happened. Every family has his own story. There are secrets. There are children that died. There has been grief that is too big. You don't talk about it. You have to live on. There is an uncle that disappeared and people don't talk about it. So everybody has something. And with all the wars we have, it makes it worse. Then that whole charge is being touched upon when the child who carries all that burden has to address it. And in that workshop there, the title was attracting teachers and care helpers. And there were people from an orphanage in Mumbai, because they recognized the descriptions in my talk, how it was announced, and it was a major learning also for me. So we did that cleansing in the line for a child remotely, and all that information, all those experiences, I have them in my mind, and I use them to create better techniques. So this is how also the education, the training is growing by the teachers who say, "Oh, I've done that a couple of times. This came up, so focus on this." It's a field that is so dynamic.
Okay.
I think that all these schools that I talked about first, there was a slight competition feeling when they started, because you have something new and you want to guard it. We're over that.
Yeah.
We're cooperating worldwide. We're sharing, because humanity is under attack, in the sense, if scientists and rulers, leaders, are denying the soul, we are soul. So we have to work together, humanity of all colors, together. because we are divine creatures.
Yes.
And I don't think that any robotic entity will survive because they're made by humans.
And I
But
think
humanity needs to
this is the
defend.
oneness we're talking about, Marion. You know, when you're talking about the fact that everybody's in a more collaborative, more cooperative, more contributive energy, it's so true because everybody's reaching out. That those barriers have fallen, and because as souls, I think we've all woken up to the fact that there's so much more we need to contribute.
Mm.
There's a sense of excitement because it's all happening very rapidly. Everybody feels there's so much more we can do, we need to do, and it's all coming from such deep compassion.
Yeah.
Because without that compassion, we won't be able to continue this kind of excitement. We need to, sustain the momentum, as one would say. So when the barriers fall and we're all doing this with that kind of a spirit of oneness, then that's the love and light that we're talking about. When the bridge of duality is crossed over, with all the logic that we're using, this is the life that we're trying to create, especially to give to the coming generations.
Yes, and it demands a lot from parents, and the young parents are not all aware, of course, of this, but they follow their feeling. And I do think the young parents are listening better to the children than before.
Yes.
Like you have a rainbow child or a special child,
Yes.
high sensitive perception child. The parents are more listening now, and they can guide it better. They can say, this is how you feel it. They can talk about it. Whereas mostly in the past, people would say, you have too much fantasy. We don't talk about it. And by the way, the rainbow got hijacked because it's now connected to varieties in sexual feeling, but that in fact has nothing to do, of course, with the rainbow. Rainbow is colors of potential for humanity.
Yes.
And it's all about respect.
It is.
But we also have to respect ourselves, and these children are the future, and they are much more beautiful, much more able than any robot. So a robot can calculate faster. Well, yeah, good. The professor who made him did a good job. But that robot doesn't have empathy. And it doesn't have a soul. And even if it has a limited life. I mean, some dwelling soul could maybe enter that robot. It will not. It doesn't match. Humanity has so much potential, and it is not even researched. How much of the brain is not mapped yet?
True. Very true. I don't think, I mean, in all humility, I say this, I don't think we really know the potential as souls, each of us individually really have come in with. I don't think we've even tapped into most of it. And,
No.
right? And that makes you realize that, wow, there's so much of possibilities if we're only willing to accept. And when we were talking about the rainbow children, what came to me was a lot of the souls who are coming in now, the new generations. I think they've all come in with a purpose, and it's as if they're all having mission-based lives. It's as if they know they've come into this planet because the planet needs them. And our role, I think, is basically to hold space with just a lot of love and compassion for these souls to be able to do what they've come to do, their life purpose, their mission, to support them.
Yes, and that requires presence.
Yes.
And in order to be present, you have to get yourself out of the past. And also you have to be able to sometimes stand up in courage and say to the school, you are teaching this, but the time is changing. There's no need for the child to sit on his bottom the whole day. In my time, we had mandatory gymnastics 3 times a week, and we had music lessons and whatever. And that seems not to be in all the schools anymore. That should be brought back. Our ancestors were not stupid, far from it. And especially, I mean, you are from the Indian culture. And I don't know who is watching, but I respect many people from all the cultures that I have no clue about. But the ancestors knew a lot more. So we may learn from the past also in the wisdom of how to live your life.
Yes.
And these children that are so vulnerable and intelligent and bright and sensitive, the parents are facing these challenges, but it's a compliment for the parents to have a child like that, because we also have different parents. These young people know how to listen better to a child.
Yes.
Not all, but you can learn. We're all learning. Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true, Marion. Marion, you know, I could actually speak with you through the night. I know it's, well, quite late here, but it's quite early for you where you are right now in San Diego. But, you know, I would love to have anything special that you want to tell our viewers. If there's any kind of, call it your guidance, call it your words of any kind of encouragement, anything that you would like to uh, say as your little message for us. Let me put it that way.
First of all, I want to thank you for watching and for listening to this conversation. And I take the liberty to say that human beings, we are gems in the necklace of society, of humanity. So we are a gem that needs to be polished. You're doing your best, and if you need help in that, there are people who love to guide you when they can. You will do the work, they will do their guidance. The regression therapists, you can find them on the forums of the schools. You are more important maybe than you think, and humanity needs you at the moment, because when the human heals himself inside, by that presence we heal the collective. And in the end, this critical mass of building and beautiful presence will change the world for the better, because now we are stuck with rules that are out of time, and humanity is beautiful enough, intelligent enough, compassionate enough to make this change, and you are part of it. So thank you for watching, and I wish you well. If you are a therapist and you want to know more, you can contact the organizers of this talk, because it's all about sharing, and sharing is caring.
Marion, I can't tell you how deeply grateful I am for not just your time, but the immensely heart-touching, motivating, very inspiring, very thoughtful, and I think thought-provoking, observations and knowledge and your expertise that you shared with us. Um, I'm definitely having the typical fangirl moment of a student listening to her teacher. It's bringing back so many beautiful memories. And I just want to say I'm so grateful that I learned what I learned from you. I'm grateful that I'm being able to do my teeny weeny bit, whatever I am being able to do for the clients who work with me. And viewers, I just want to say, reach out. You know, you are living in a world today where it is very true. We are living in a spirit of compassion, collaboration, contribution, and it's all based on a lot of compassion and love. And as Marion said, you know, if you want to live life with love and light, then do bring logic into it, weave it all together, and you have this beautiful tapestry that you can create for yourself and for others. So, Marion, thank you so much, and just sending you lots and lots of love. And do take care, stay well, keep shining brightly, and spreading all this wonderful stuff that you do. And I look forward to seeing you in coming times. And viewers, thank you so much for continuing to support us, support our podcast series, and do watch, do share your comments. And if there's anything that you wish to know, wish to find out about Marion and about the programs that she has, her workshops, her classes across the world, uh, do check her out, find her, and you will find her on the Tasso Institute. I think their classes, where it's listed, it'll be there. And send us your thoughts, send us your observations. We look forward, and I'll be back soon. Thank you, and bye bye.